My girlfriend has called me stingy, but I call myself financially conscious. Today, she sent me a TikTok video featuring a girl who was visibly upset with the caption, "When he's flipping out about paying for your guy's $20 In-N-Out meal, but your ex literally would drop a bag every time you went out." The comments only seem to reinforce this. Comments such as, like $20 stop, I'm going back, literally, I miss him, too real to be honest, etc. We've been dating for about 18 months now. She makes little comments about it from time to time. I asked when we initially started dating about how she felt about rotating. The idea being, I pay for this date, she can pay for the next regardless of the total. If this was a big issue, why not bring it up initially? Instead of talking to me about it, she complains and reposts and sends me these TikToks. Additionally, whenever I try to bring up a touchy subject that needs to be addressed, she shuts down and goes home. No hug, no kiss goodbye. Any advice for a young man in his early 20s and his girlfriend the same age? Questions on further detail are welcome. Thank you. Story 1. If I were dating someone whose idea of responding to an issue or conversation was posting TikToks, I would question why I'm dating them. It's staggeringly immature and avoidant. In your situation, I'd either end the relationship, or if the feelings are really strong enough to make it worth it, confront the issue head-on in person. No TikToks, no shutting down. If she wants to go home and avoid it and not have the conversation, we're done. Story 2. I get the hint you want your ex back. This would be my response. The little comments add up over time. My advice is to look for someone with the same financial goals and mindset in life as you. Story 3. That's really disrespectful and dehumanizing. This would be a big problem for me. I'm happy to treat the women I date, but the moment it becomes just an expected baseline, no. The moment she mocks me for it, no. Additionally, whenever I try to bring up a touchy subject that needs to be addressed, she shuts down and goes home. No hug, no kiss goodbye. You are in an extractive relationship where she cares a lot less than you do. It sucks to realize that. Unless she matures, you are going nowhere fast. Story 4. Laugh out loud. Love a woman who's been brainwashed by TikTok to think all her things should be paid for by her boyfriend. If you're in your early 20s, don't go spending all your money trying to keep your unhappy girlfriend happy. You'll regret it later. Been there, done that. Story 5. Buddy, she's literally sending you videos comparing you to her ex and passive-aggressively threatening to leave you if you don't behave like an ATM for her. You and she are never going to be on the same page. She wants a sugar daddy, you want a partner. If she's actually special to you and you're not just emotionally attached to the sex, you should sit her down and talk to her. Try and make her understand that living paycheck to paycheck is not how you want to live life. If she can't accept that, drop her off at her ex's place with a bag. Story 6. It sounds to me like you are either dating a teenager or someone with the emotional maturity of a teenager. If she is dating you primarily for you to provide her meals and will not engage in productive conversations about relationship issues, it does not sound like a relationship worth continuing. 18 months is a long time to not be able to have a mature conversation about addressing issues. Story 7. I would consider her both financially and communicatively non-functional, for lack of better terms. If she's unable to communicate to you through her words and has to resort to sending memes or TikToks that communicate her mindset, I would tell her to stop. If she doesn't, I would post my responses as comments on those TikToks. I have no patience for that, so if I feel like I'm not being taken seriously and she's not dedicating her focus to the conversation she insists on having, then I won't take it seriously either. Then, if I saw her commenting stuff indicating that she wants to get back with her ex, then call her bluff or make her make a decision. I understand you want to get back with him. I'm not going to stop you. When I first moved out, I moved into a household with 3 good friends of mine, best friends, and one of my friends and I had jobs, the 2 others did not, so my friend and I paid for most things and we really tightened our belts to make ends meet. I was the only one to really consider this when we went shopping, and so it just became my role in the household that I was the stingy naysayer. But we couldn't afford to spend an entire day's food budget on homemade and organic guacamole, so I had to, otherwise we'd just not eat. This grew in my roommates, especially the 2 others, into more and more noticeable resentment. They split up our budgets, had us cook at different times than them, they wouldn't say hi or goodbye, and this resentment just became bigger and bigger. Eventually, they lied to me and tricked me into moving out, and once I found out that it was a ruse, I cut contact with them. Her behavior of just shutting down and going home is very irresponsible, and her way of not communicating this is also a massive red flag. Call her bluff or sit her down and tell her it's time to have an adult conversation and talk candidly about it. Story 8. Listen, bud. I was in the same boat. Not about women not paying, but about being with a woman who wasn't my match. If you don't want to be with a woman who leeches on you, then just leave. Plenty of men don't mind paying for everything. I personally do. Just ditch her, brother. I promise there are better women out there. Story 9. Young man in his early 20s. Get out while you have nothing tying you down. I know that seems like a drastic approach, but answer me this. Would you want to spend your life with someone who can't communicate and has conflicting financial priorities? It's a recipe for disaster. Story 10. Imagine we have gotten to the point where people fight over things that are not even real. Tell her to stop viewing propaganda. It is making her ill, clearly. She sounds like a loon. Story 11. If you really want a relationship with her, I would tell her she needs to learn how to communicate directly and that you don't want to deal with passive-aggressive behavior. If you aren't really serious about the relationship but still want to continue, see if this is something that really bugs you. Every woman you date will have something about them. Personally, I wouldn't remain in a relationship if I wasn't serious, and if I was serious, I wouldn't let something continue that makes the relationship bad for me. Story 12. You send her a TikTok saying, "We're done. Have a good life with your ex. Bye." Don't even wait for a reply, just block her everywhere and ghost her. Seriously, dude, petty people like that should be treated with the same level of pettiness. You also don't see eye to eye when it comes to money, so honestly, you don't have a good future together. Why even drag it out? Story 13. I totally walk looking back at my early 20s relationships when I was single. No issue with paying for stuff if you want to, but you're kind of getting subtly pressured into playing the role of satisfy my princess fantasy that my ex satisfied in social media says I should want. And when you don't perform, she distances herself and shuts down. You're kind of getting manipulated by someone too emotionally immature to clearly communicate their needs. If she needs that treatment, she should find a guy who wants to give that to her. You don't seem to want to, and that's perfectly reasonable. Maybe someone out there wants to, but it doesn't have to be your bank account that suffers for it. Story 14. This is hilarious. Like a bad joke hilarious. Not, this can be fixed. Let me be blunt. She's an idiot. You're dating an idiot who has idiot priorities and idiot means of communication. Stupidity doesn't get better through words and reasoning, which is why you failed to convince her that you're trying to be budget conscious. There are two scenarios about to occur next. She finds a sugar daddy and cheats on you rather brazenly. Maybe already the case. One of you breaks it off and she searches for a sugar daddy. You're under 25. You should be poor and you should be budgeting restaurant meals very carefully. I'm 43. I have the money now that I no longer have to do that, but I'm still with the same woman who paid half the time we went to Taco Bell in our early 20s. Don't wait on the inevitable. Move on. Story 15. I'm going to put the blame for this situation on you. There's no point in focusing on her communication style here. Let's assume at 18 months in, this is who she fundamentally is. If you brought up the idea of rotating dates from the beginning of the relationship as a non-negotiable, why not stand on it if your wishes aren't being met? You lay it all out there on the table as a take it or leave it type of situation. These are my expectations for a girlfriend. If you don't feel comfortable with this, let's get you out of there. If you notice she was cool with it from the start, but a month or two down the line she was complaining and sending videos, you should have nipped the problem in the bud early. At this point, you've wasted 18 months in a relationship with a woman who has a completely different viewpoint on dating. You have to reflect on your relationship in real time. If you don't want a woman who expects you to pay for all the dates, why would you make one your girlfriend? If her communication style isn't up to par, why would you make a woman your girlfriend who expresses herself through TikTok? Also, your girl doesn't respect you as a man. She is putting her ex above you and directly comparing him to you. People only treat you how you allow them to. My advice for you would be to start standing your ground and stop trying to make things work with people that don't fit your program. You've been in this relationship for almost 2 years. Accept this is how she is or go find a new girl. Story 16. One of the leading causes of divorce is financial issues. If you are wanting a long-term relationship or marriage, find someone with a similar mindset before you lose half your belongings in a divorce. Story 17. Have some self-respect and dump her, then move on. You are more mature than her. Just be prepared for a bunch of videos to be posted about you after the breakup, bad-mouthing you. Story 18. Find a new girl. If she will make you broke now, do not wait to see what she will do to your bank account when you are married. You obviously have sense in being frugal. A woman who cannot respect that will not see your future the same way you will and will surely set you back if not bring you down. Now, if she is looking to grow and change, then maybe it can work. She would have to be willing to sit down and have the hard conversations, though. If she cannot talk about this with you, then you probably will not have any luck with even more important things like parenting, right and wrong, religion. I may be a tiny bit biased because TikTok is a disease to me, and almost anyone that watches it cannot get near me, but I hope the best for you. Story 19. It's fascinating to see people who know instinctively that their partner is waving massive red flags and they do nothing about it. She's not invested in you or the future. She's invested in the now and the past. You're being compared to a generous past lover, and she wants that more than anything. The fact she gives you the cold shoulder when she doesn't get her way tells volumes about what she'll do once she's married and entitled to half your money and assets. But what would I know? You'll continue to compromise and continue to be disappointed, all for some fleeting moments of happiness that'll make you happy a few times a week. Story 20. Communication is the most important part of any relationship. If you and your partner are not able to communicate effectively, then your relationship will not last. My advice would be to sit down with her and discuss a budget goal for the month regarding things like eating out. Set limits on how much you are comfortable spending and how much she is. Then, once that limit is reached, no more eating out for that month. That way you will be able to buy things without guilt. If she will not have this discussion with you, then you should probably consider whether or not you are willing to continue. Story 21. You are dating a literal child. Not just because of the TikToks and difficulty talking about important things, but leaving without any kind of affection is her attempt at either punishing you or hoping you will chase her. I am 31 and would break up with her based on this one Reddit post alone. Story 22. She is trying to manipulate you. She is also incredibly immature, trying to get TikTok, of all things, to speak for her. I asked when we initially started dating about how she felt about taking turns paying. The idea being, I pay for this date, she can pay for the next regardless of the total. If this was a big issue, why not bring it up initially? She might be non-confrontational, which perhaps would also explain why she is using TikTok to get her point across instead of talking to you directly. Not your problem, however. You are correct. If she took issue with it, she should have brought it up. Even if she was okay with it initially, but then her feelings about it changed later, she should have brought it up then. Additionally, whenever I try to bring up a sensitive subject that needs to be addressed, she shuts down and goes home with no hug, no kiss goodbye. Maybe she is just immature. I do not know, man. I think you need to put your foot down and tell her that she needs to air her grievances with you like an adult instead of hiding behind those self-centered TikTok posts and the miserable, terminally online women that rally behind them. She cannot keep avoiding the conversations you need to have for a relationship to function. Otherwise, just cut your losses. Call it financial incompatibility, a maturity gap, irreconcilable differences, or whatever you want to call it. Story 23. Nobody defines your relationship with your money except you. The next time she sends you a TikTok, make a mental note that it's one less date you're going to have to pay for. Change your girlfriend's name on your phone to No Talk Just TikTok. Story 24. Maybe it's my age, I'm 50. Maybe it's my aversion to social media. Maybe it's my introverted personality. Maybe it's just a gut feeling. But this woman seems like an absolute immature person. Again, I know we come from different age groups, but anyone that makes your personal problems public problems is not a keeper. I'm sure she has other qualities, but I'd cut ties and move on. Story 25. Dang OP. She sounds like the typical Generation Z girl who gets all her media from TikTok. Ask if she is a feminist and believes in equality. Tell her you can pay for all the dates if she can cook, clean your room, massage you, etc. Story 26. Either suck it up, big dog, and pay the bill and be a provider. Or get yourself a partner that understands where you're at financially, such as a season of building your resources, and gets that you aren't about the $20 burger life right now. If you find that partner, be sure to step up and pay up when you've got the money, because a good girl that will support you when you're hustling from the bottom with not a lot to your name is a good egg, and she should be treated well. Story 27. Years and years ago, me. Here are my thoughts on this issue. What are your thoughts? Listen to this song. The lyrics explain it clearly. Today discussions happen over memes and TikToks. Oh yeah? Is that what you think? Well, look at this TikTok. My response to such behavior is, you are an intelligent person, and I want to hear your own original thoughts on this. If I was dating someone who was incapable of forming an original thought, but had to lean on memes and TikToks to present their viewpoints, then they are not for me. I would wish them luck and remove them from my life.